my pleasure to introduce from Everett, Michigan, Kimberly Braley. Kimberly, it's great to meet you. I understand that you've been through quite an ordeal in the last few years. First of all, can I ask just how old are your children?
Well, I still have two minor children at home. One is 13, he's a boy, and then a little girl, 8 years old.
Okay. And it's my understanding that there's been a whole lot that's happened that's changed in your case in the recent year since you actually filmed previously. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Ever since I've, won my case, they're in and out constantly trying to find something wrong. They find nothing wrong. Just recently this year, they've decided to make all kinds of ridiculous accusations, which did not follow through. Then it led up to October when the workers showed up at my husband's house, who I do not live with. She was told that the children do not live there. She continued to argue with him. She was asked to leave. She left. She came back within a half hour with another worker and kept on being belligerent with him, arguing with him. He asked her to leave again. The next day she came back. She came back with two officers. It's just gotten ridiculous. And the charge that they put up on me was that they opened a case because I was talking about maybe leaving the state of Michigan eventually. That's not in the future plans. It's further down the road. And it's a county that's opening this case that I don't even live in. My husband and I have been separated because they wanted to play the yo-yo game with us. So we just decided to stay separated, live different places. They expect him to walk 60-some miles just to see his children, because he gave me his only running vehicle. It's just gotten horrible.
So just to clarify something, it's not Everett that you're dealing with as far as CPS, and it was not I just want to clarify, this was not yours and your husband's idea to actually separate and live separately, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so can you tell us what the excuse was that they gave you, why you could not live with your husband?
They really don't give any reason. They just say, well, you can't live together if you want to keep the kids. Then they say, oh, now you have to live together to keep the kids. And it just keeps going back and forth. They don't give a reason. They just like playing this game with us for some reason. And a few years ago, they forced us to go back together, which that was fine with me. They sent us to marriage counseling. That turned out great because it wasn't because of us that we were separated. And finally, we've just got tired of being the yo-yo and bouncing back and forth, so we've just decided to continue to live separate. And it still hasn't really changed much. They, if they gotta harass one, they're harassing the other. And
now, that generally when parents separate or divorce, that is very difficult on the children. Can you tell me what kind of an impact this has made on your children with not being able to live with mom and dad, and mom and dad still wanting to live as a married couple and be together, and the children not being able to see both parents every day? How do you feel that's affected the children?
Well, with my 13-year-old, he kind of stays to himself. He doesn't really say much. I know he misses, the other parent. No, the 8-year-old little girl, she's always questioning me. Why can't I be with daddy? Why can't mommy and daddy be together? When can I see my daddy? Why do they make it to where I can't see daddy? Why did they take my daddy away from me? She's a daddy's girl. She loves her daddy. And she's the one that's more full of questions. My 13-year-old, he kind of keeps it bottled up. But I can tell that it bothers him. And he's happy to see his dad. But the 13-year-old, she will actually cry, you know, and want to see her dad. But what can we do when they won't let us go down there to see her dad? And I'm not going to have the man walk 60-some miles. You know, I mean, it's too cold. He's a good dad.
So he did what was right and gave you the car so that you would be able to take care of the children, be able to bring them to school functions and that type of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not like you've been dealing with abuse or anything that would cause CPS to question him being in the home as a parent?
No. No. He's an excellent husband. He's an excellent father. And that I just wish there was more of them like him.
Was there a time when CPS told you that you would lose custody if you, I know you said at one point they told you to live together, at another point they told you that you're not allowed to live together. Was there a time that they told you that you would lose custody if you either stayed with your husband or left your husband?
Yes.
And can you tell me a little bit about that and what excuse they used?
Well, when it all first started back in 1990, and well, 94, their excuse was because my ex-husband, not the one that is in my life now, said that, you know, he didn't like my husband and, you know, these were his kids and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's when they said, well, you'll lose custody of your kids if you don't leave him. Then 2 or 3 days later, they'd come back, oh, well, you can go back together because we found out that, you know, the ex had said, oh, well, it was my mistake. You know, it's been back and forth for years, you know, and this last time they're like, well, either you leave and move somewhere else because if you come to Montcalm County, we're taking your kids.
Wow.
You know, I mean, they even as much called and inquired about my children, which I have not lived in Montcalm County for over 3 years, and they made the statement, we don't want the 13-year-old boy because he's too fat and he's not adoptable. We want the girl. And that came straight from a worker's mouth in Montcalm County.
We've just got a few more minutes left. Is there anything else that you would like to let the viewers know as far as the horror that you and your family have been through?
You know, after 23 years, you know, it's time that they stop. They can't find nothing wrong with the children. The children are taken care of. They're happy. You know, everything that they try to do falls back on CPS. They just need to leave it alone. You know, they've tortured our family enough. They've tortured my children enough. It's time to stop. And that's what I'd like for them to do. You know, my children doesn't need to live in fear no more. They need to be happy children to where they can live a normal life without worry.
Right. And can you tell me what you have done to get your children help as far as dealing with some of the issues that they've had with Child Protective Services?
Well, I seeked out a counselor, and that did not work out very well. So what we've done, we've started a plan with the children, me and their father. We sit down, we discuss things, we let them open up, tell us what they feel. We share ideas of what we can do to kind of make them feel better. We do it all as a family and a group setting.
That sounds like a pretty healthy way to help them get through what they're going through, and I just wanted to say I commend you on that. There's parents that don't take the time to do what they need to do and get their children help. And they, as you know, are not under the threat of having their children removed.
Right.
Is there anything else that you can think of that you'd like to share with anybody who may be watching?
Just stay strong. Talk to your children. Like I do, I spend a lot of time with my kids. I devote every minute to them. They can share anything with me they want. Just stay strong and try to fight these people. It's got to stop. They torture families. They really do. It's the best advice I can really give. Wish I could give better.
Well, sometimes it's hard, every situation's unique, and as you know, we run into other people that are dealing with similar situations, but none of them are exactly the same.
Right.
So each individual case should be treated individually. I was wondering if there's anything that your children have asked you about as far as what CPS could do better or how they could do things differently. Have the children told them things that the worker is not believing? Is there stuff that the children have shared that you could share with people that they feel would improve things?
Well, the children don't talk to them. They run and hide. They're very afraid of them. They won't talk to them. They hide. They just refuse to. The 8-year-old has actually went into like a convulsion because she got so scared of them. I had to bring her out of it. The children are also homeschooled because neither one of them can function in the school because of being afraid of CPS.
And were they diagnosed for, like your daughter, for the convulsions, or?
It's part of her autism, and it's like a chemical imbalance that causes her body to just kind of go into shaking motions. She also has separation anxiety disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder, and that should not be happening in an 8-year-old.
No, I agree with you 100% there. That should not be happening at all. I want to thank you for coming on the program and sharing your story. I know that can't be easy with everything you've been through. Definitely, what it appears to me like you're doing for your children is the best that you can do, and we hope that there's somebody out there watching that can hear what your children have been through, and who can at the very least, the more people that know this type of thing is going on, the more people that can get involved and bring awareness to it, and I think that's what's going to help us all. So I wanted to thank you for coming on Silent Voices, and we appreciate your voice.
And thank you for having me.
All right, take care.
Okay.